This is Prayerline, your weekly inspiration to help you pray for student movements around the world.
Breaking the silence. Sarah Obotella, a master's student in the Democratic Republic of Congo, describes how she saw God working through a conference she'd organised to help students process the trauma of war. Moments of deep silence were followed by floods of tears and cries of pain. As the students vented their feelings, we witnessed liberation from hatred, anger, and resentment. Many were finally able to break their silence and verbalize their traumatic experiences. Since independence in 1960, the DRC has suffered decades of conflict and violence, which continues today in the East. Although many civilians have fled and settled in calmer areas of the country, they suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. Sarah sensed that many students were burdened with the invisible suffering of PTSD, emotionally wounded, feeling dead inside, and abandoned by God, yet unable to talk about it. If we can't put an end to the war, let's at least take care of those suffering its negative effects, she vowed. In addition to studying for her master's in sociology at the University of Kisangani, Sarah works part-time for her IFES national movement, GBU. And through the IFES Logos and Cosmos initiative, she is leading an innovative project that combines psychosocial and theological approaches to mental health. Having identified and interviewed around 30 students with PTSD in Kisangani, she organised a public event last September. Experts in theology, psychology, and sociology shared their perspectives so that victims could begin to recognise PTSD and its impact. Over 40 students heard about psychological symptoms like repetitive nightmares, flashbacks, and negative emotions, social impacts, like avoiding groups or fear of speaking up, and theological issues, like doubting God's goodness or power, renouncing faith, or turning to fetishism. All those who recognized such trauma in their own lives then received follow-up visits from Sarah and a team of GBU volunteers, accompanied by psychologists and pastors. With the groundwork laid and trust built, it was time to break the silence. In March, around 25 students accepted Sarah's invitation to a private day conference where they were encouraged to share their stories. Sarah was glad to see as many as 15 courageously describe their traumatic experiences. It was an important step towards them being able to separate themselves from the nightmares and memories. The tears and cries were followed by moments of joy as the day concluded over a meal, with games, chatting, and laughter. The silence was truly broken. Sarah sees God's work in her too. It's been a beautiful adventure. It's allowed me to get in touch with vulnerable, wounded people, to listen to them, interact with them, cry with them, to share the pain in their hearts. I've understood that my real mission is to be with these people who need to see Christ in us. Let's pray for God's work among the movement in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Give thanks for Sarah and her LCI project, that she's been able to offer Christ's love to victims of war in such a practical way. Pray they will find full healing in Him. Pray for Sarah, concluding her project with the publication of a paper. May her work encourage holistic care within GBU and across the university. Pray for peace in the DRC and for GBU ministering in this difficult context. Ask the Lord to provide for 3 full-time staff so that its 8,000 plus GBU students and pupils can be better supported.
Thanks for listening to Prayerline. To have stories delivered fresh to your inbox each week, join our Prayerline mailing list by going to ifesworld.org.